it's really time to stop justifying where you stand by pointing out everything that's wrong. It's really time to start trying to bliss out a little. It's really time to start giving others and yourself the benefit of the doubt. It's really time to start praising more than criticizing and looking for solutions rather than problems. It's really time to start laughing instead of crying and start complimenting instead of defending. It's really time to start looking for things that feel a little better and letting go of those things that don't feel so good. But what it's really time for is to give up the motivating action part and to begin allowing the universal forces to do the work for you. When you get in your automobile, we know you don't ever feel like it is your responsibility to get under the hood and pull belts and pulleys and pistons. You don't do that. You leave that to the ingenuity of your engine, and you just steer it in the direction of where you want to go. And we want to convince you of the power of this vortex and the cooperative components that are already lined up on your behalf. And we want to make it so clear that you are the only uncooperative component. And the reason you are is because you're so busy noticing what is. You're so busy trying to ferret out the problem. You're so busy trying to justify your existence. It's time for you to just chill and accept the grandness and the goodness and the wholeness and the worthiness of that which you are, and stop defending anything to anyone, especially to yourself. If somebody says to you, as parents often said to you when you were little, why did you do that? Your answer must be, because I wanted to. I thought I wanted to. We want you to get into this place where you are no longer trying to please the peanut gallery, the out of control, fickle peanut gallery who really doesn't know what it wants from you anyway. Because it just wants to feel better and thinks that your behavior modification might be part of the key, but it isn't. You cannot stand on your head in enough different ways to really affect anyone in a positive way very much. The best you can do for anyone is to get into your vortex and be who you really are, and then radiate the wholeness of your being back to them, you see. So, well, you're almost there. You're closer than any audience has been, we'll tell you that. You're closer than any audience has been to us having convinced you of the reality of this vortex and the benefit to you to reach toward it. Because have you ever been on vacation and you've been out on the road and you've been sort of free and in an attitude of discovery, with no time commitments, just sort of free-flowing? And you know that fresh feeling of the universe just yielding to you, fun stuff to see and fun things to feel? It's that fresh feeling that you can have all day, every day, once you start living this real time that we're talking about. So if someone says, did you get your new car? You could say and mean and smile and feel good as you say, no, I'm still dreaming about it. And then they'll go, oh. Oh. But you don't mean, oh. You mean, I'm still dreaming about it. Did you meet that perfect, did you find your lover yet? No, I'm still dreaming about him. Oh. No, you don't understand. He doesn't have to be here this red hot minute. The idea of him has breathed life into me, the likes of which I cannot even begin to explain. Did you write your best-selling novel yet? No, I'm just dreaming about it. Oh. Haven't really gotten around to it yet. Oh, no. Life is just showing me bits and pieces of it. I'm gathering it up. I can feel it formulating. I can feel the inspiration that's flowing through me. I've never felt so vivid or so alive. You move into your new house yet? No, I'm still dreaming about it. Oh. No. That dreaming about it is good. I'm in the vortex. I'm tuned in with the vibrational reality of it. It's breathing life into me. Oh, sure, it will manifest. But I've found, you can say to your friends, that the more that manifests, the more I have to ensure it. the more I have to move it from place to place, the more I have to clean it. In other words, you watch people, the more they gather, the less good they feel. The less they've got, the better they feel. We're not trying to talk you out of manifestations, friends. We're not. Manifestations are so wonderful, and there is nothing more spiritual than the manifestation of this spirit that you are. Nothing is more delicious than manifestation. But manifestation that comes from alignment is delicious. Manifestation that is dragging you around by the hair is not. And we think that in general, our human friends are hung up on the what isness of manifestations and depriving themselves of the freedom of the natural joy that comes from rendezvousing with the energy that is truly you. Now that's easy for us to explain to you because we don't have a physical body that we're dragging around. We don't have to bathe it or clothe it or feed it. We don't live in a house that we have to pay rent on or own or insure. In other words, we live in a state of beingness. But here's the big picture for you. So does the larger part of you. You are spirit. You are not thing. You are a being, not a doing. You are a being, not a having. You are a physical being who has the potential of aligning with the clarity and the adventure and the love and the sureness and the worthiness that is really you. And you can tell moment by moment whether you've caught a glimpse of it. And when you do, milk it, milk it, milk it, milk it, milk it, milk it, milk it. Until you say incessantly to those around you who say, well, what do you need? You say, I really don't need anything. There's nothing that I need. But I'm always on the quest for alignment. What does that mean? Well, it's sort of a long story, but what it basically means is I'm more than I see or that you see here in this physical body. And I can feel the wholeness of who I am through my emotions, and I'm always on the trail of that. Now, most people won't get it, but you do. You get it. And in fact, you've gotten it so good that you can't go back from it. We should have explained that at the beginning, that you now know too much. You now know too much. You can't go back. You know too much. You can't go back. You are source energy in physical bodies, and the way you feel is everything. A woman said, my lover left and now I'm sad. And we said, no, you're not. She said, Abraham, my lover left and now I'm sad. We said, no, you're not. She said, Abraham. She thought things she didn't say. Something about a ridiculous ghost. Abraham, you ridiculous ghost. My lover left and now I am sad. And we said, no, you're not. She said, let me be very clear with you. I wasn't sad. And then my lover left. And now I'm sad. I'm sad because my lover left. And we said, while you're interacting with that lover, you created a lover in your vortex that lover was not a match to. And when that lover left, you're using that as an excuse not to match up with the one that's in your vortex. You're not sad because that lover left. You're sad because right now, in this red hot minute, you are not a vibrational match to the lover you have created. That's why you're sad. You're sad because you are not up to speed with who you are. That's the only reason that you're ever sad. It's the only reason that you're ever sick. It's the only reason that you ever feel negative emotion. You're not up to speed. 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 Well, how do you get up to speed? You care about how you feel, and you practice reaching for the thoughts that feel better until you find yourself in the vortex, and then you practice being in the vortex until you're chronically in the vortex, and then you're living real time. Then your source energy flowing through you. Now as you're interacting with others, all of you is in that moment. Now you're offering one signal, not split energy. Now you are living life as you've intended. That's what you came for. For example, because the laws of the universe are always working for you to show you this. There's not a shred of evidence anywhere in the universe to the contrary of what we're speaking here. So as you hear it and you begin watching for it, it will show itself to you over and over again till you'll feel your own true power. So let's say, have you ever had an experience, it's more prevalent with men than women, but it happens, where you are having a fist fight with someone. You've actually come to blows. But there was a point before you, or before someone, we'll say you, threw that first punch. There was a point where you could have held that punch back and it would have been better. Because your nose wouldn't have been broken. And you wouldn't now be in jail. In other words, there was a point where if you had used a little willpower, a little personal motivation, you could have pulled the punch back, and even though you were so mad you were spitting bullets, it would have been better, because it got worse once the action happened from outside the vortex. You following? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in the midst of an argument with someone where the more you spewed, the worse it got? It just got bigger and badder and bigger and badder and bigger and badder till it came to blows. Wasn't there a point where if you could have just held back, it would have been better? Aren't there things you have said that you just wish you hadn't said? But once you've crossed that sensitive line, it's crossed. In other words, you can't really take that perspective back. So in the same way that you could pull back your fists, or you could pull back those venomous words, you can also pull back those thoughts, because the thoughts lead to the words and the words lead to the behavior. In other words, it's all part of the expansion process, because as we've been saying to you for years, if you've got negative emotion and you don't know what it means and you don't do something about diluting it and replacing it with better feelings, don't worry, it will get bigger. Because law of attraction insists that it will. And if you still don't do something about it, it will get bigger. And if you still don't do something about it, it will get bigger. Law of attraction insists that it will. And the thing that's so interesting, and this is what we so want you to hear, leading edge creators out here on the leading edge, hearing things for the first time today ever, as that whirlwind, as that vortex of what you don't want gets bigger, as that problem gets bigger, so does the solution. And it is the relationship between the problem getting bigger and the solution that gets bigger that equals the strain within you. In other words, we so want you to hear that, and you said something similar to that to us when you sat down. If the problem didn't get this big, then the solution wouldn't be this big. So the question really is, how big a price am I willing to pay for my solutions? And we want to say to you, we think you're done. In other words, you've got enough in this vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. We really don't think that there is any virtue in suffering into this expansion. So now, speculate just for a little bit. Think about how, have you ever, let's find some simple ideas. Have you ever got an idea that you'd like to refurbish your house or buy new furniture? And do you remember that, how good it felt? Did you ever look through catalogs and kind of start forming an image of how you'd like it to look? And didn't it feel better than when you got into the throes of trying to gather it all up? Or pay for it? Or find someone who could coordinate it? In other words, isn't it easier to feel good in the envisioning stage? And what we want you to come along, and we can feel you starting to move with us. What we want you, if we could convince you that your life is about the way you feel, then it wouldn't matter to you if you're dreaming the new furniture or if you're placing it. If we've really convinced you that how you feel is where it's at. So movie makers just keep dreaming new movies. Authors just keep dreaming new books. Songwriters just keep writing new songs. The creative people never rest on their laurels. The happy creative people only stay happy and creative because they keep writing the next song. You see what we're getting at? They keep painting the next painting. Do you really think the world needs another painting? No, but painters want to paint. Sculptors want to sculpt. Songwriters want to write songs. Musicians want to make music. In other words, you're getting the hang of it, aren't you? In other words, you want to flow the energy. That's how you mold the clay. You want to flow the energy. You want to think the good feeling thoughts. You want to sing the good feeling songs. You want to think the good feeling thoughts. You want to think the good feeling thoughts. You want to think the good feeling thoughts. You don't want to think bad feeling thoughts. You want to think the good feeling thoughts. Now think about it. As we watch people building empires, as we watch relationships coming together, as we watch movements coming into being, do you know that far and away the majority of the movement happens before there is any physical stuff that even comes into being. In other words, as you dream your empire, as you dream your dream employees, as you dream your dream product, as you dream the world's response to it, as you dream that, it's all pure because there's no reality that's clashing with it. You got to dream it as you wanted to dream it.